From the time of the first settlers in 1792, Sodus Bay was considered an ideal harbor for exporting farm products and other commodities. Sodus Bay prospered and became known for its lumber, grain, and coal trade, commercial fishing, ice industry, and shipbuilding. The first lighthouse on Sodus Bay was established in 1825. The original lighthouse was a round tower rising 40 feet. The existing lighthouse replaced it in 1871 when the need for extensive repairs was recognized. The tower was fitted with a fourth-order Fresnel lens. The stone for the construction of the new lighthouse was transported across Lake Ontario from Kingston, Ontario. During the 76 years the old and new lighthouses were in service, from 1825 to 1901, 15 keepers were responsible for the care and operation of the light.
Our very first keeper here, his name was Ishmael Hill, and he was a veteran of the War of 1812 and was appointed to this position. He was subsequently removed from the position for reason of insanity. However, some of the people who had signed the complaint against him, it's questionable as to what the motives were. One of the people signing the complaint was Bennett Fitzhugh, who became our second lighthouse keeper here.
Silt and sand deposited on the shoreline at Sodus Bay over the years gradually created a large sandy section of land, pushing the Old Sodus Point Lighthouse back nearly a mile from the harbor. As a result, other lights were needed to mark the entrance to the harbor. A permanent beacon called the Sodus Outer Light was installed in 1870 and later replaced by this 45-foot tower installed in 1938 at the end of an 800-foot concrete pier. After improvements were made to the pier light, the Lighthouse Board determined that this beacon was sufficient and decommissioned the shore light in 1901. The Fresnel lens was removed and placed in the pier light. The keeper's residence was used from 1901 to 1953 to house personnel maintaining the pier light.
The great advantage for this building was that the residence was attached to the tower. Once this was decommissioned, the poor keeper now had to go about a mile away to tend to the lights in the middle of the night. Our poor keeper, who had to trudge every 2 to 3 hours through the night to tend to the lanterns, had to go through all sorts of weather.
The light on the pier was fully automated in the late 1940s, so a keeper was no longer needed. The last keeper was Edwin Ward, who retired in 1953. In 1984, the U.S. Coast Guard turned the lighthouse and its buildings over to the town of Sodus Point. Today, the Old Sodus Lighthouse is maintained by the Sodus Bay Historical Society. Here, visitors can climb to the top of the lighthouse. The Fresnel lens was installed in the tower in 1988. This is not the original lens, but one used in the lighthouse on the pier. The museum holds sailing, shipping, and lighthouse artifacts, lighthouse artwork, and photography chronicling the history of Sodus Bay, maritime library, and gift shop. During the summer months, the protected and scenic harbor of Sodus Point is a magnet for vacationers and seasonal residents.
Now available on DVD or Blu-ray, the WPBS TV production of New York's Seaway Lighthouses, featuring the fascinating histories of over 20 different lighthouses along the shores of New York's Seaway Trail. Order your copy today.
New York Seaway Lighthouses is sponsored by the Department of the Interior National Park Service and by Taste New York at the North Country Welcome Center overlooking the Thousand Islands Bridge.